The parched, wide fields of Coyote Pass murmured to a soft breeze as the Brown family reunited again on the reddish ground. Their boots sank a little into the ground, dust uncoiling into the air with every step. This place was meant to be a symbol of new beginnings, of family cohesion, of a future full of hope. But as the sun began its descent lower on the horizon, doubt weighed more than ever. But not all dreams have a solid foundation. Janelle stood frozen, arms folded tightly across her chest, as Cody enthusiastically explained his vision for the property. Sweeping hand motions, promises that were too vague to remember, and talk of a shared mansion, financial miracle, and camaraderie. It was inspirational. If only there was some substance. There were no blueprints, no contractors, no cash-changed hands, just words. And in that ocean of words, reality was nowhere to be found. And then there was Robyn. Leaning casually against her SUV, she observed in silence. Her expensive sunglasses mirrored the nearby mountains, her posture cool and almost smug. She didn't argue. She didn't need to. A faint smirk danced on her lips, subtle, but enough for Janelle to catch it from the corner of her eye. It wasn't encouragement. It wasn't unity. It was something else entirely. Superiority. That moment would tattoo itself into Janelle's memory, cut to a completely different scene, a different existence. In her small Flagstaff apartment, Janelle slumped over a low-rent folding table. The room was empty. No family pictures, no cozy furnishing, only sterile white walls and the glowing laptop screen full of spreadsheets. Her 401k glared back at her like a joke. Line upon line of deductions, penalties, and drained contributions stretched across the screen. The savings she had accumulated through decades of diligent work, not to mention her tiny business enterprises, had been stolen. And for what? For whom? When the family got behind on bills and property taxes, it was Janelle who intervened. She paid off bills, lit the lights, and even heated Robyn's enormous house to warm and cozy. She did it with hope, with faith. Someday, she thought, they would all live on this land as one. The grandchildren would play under trees they planted together as a family. But while Robyn moved into her luxurious custom-built house, Janelle did it in an RV. Then came the tipping point. Shutting down her laptop with shaking hands, Janelle hid her face in her palms. It wasn't the money that snapped her. It was the betrayal, the sacrifice she made for a family that no longer felt like one. And what did Robyn say about it? In her tidy kitchen, Robyn carelessly flicked her manicured hand. "I didn't instruct her to use her 401k, she snapped. "She volunteered." Cody stood next to her, in silence. No defense, no backing of Janelle, just silent acquiescence. Robyn filled a wine glass and icily continued. "She knew the risks. We all did. Cody warned her the land wasn't ready. She ought to have said something if she didn't want any part of it." A pause. And then that sneer again. But the story does not end here. Miles away in Utah, Christine clutched a pillow in her hand. She spoke of it, voice shaking with feeling. "I recall when Janelle informed me," she said. "She withdrew almost her whole retirement. She trusted Cody. In us." Christine moved forward, her voice becoming more pointed, while Robyn continued spending. She had assistance with her children, a housekeeper, daily Amazon packages. Janelle lived in a trailer. "Call it what it is," Christine told the camera. It was theft. Few wanted to say it aloud. But on the internet, the truth began to emerge. Fans, past viewers, and cyber detectives started piecing things together. Footage was exposed. Moments in which Robyn dodged money issues. Moments in which Cody avoided eye contact when money was discussed. Moments in which Janelle quietly wrote checks. The social media went crazy. TikTok timelines followed the family's money moves. YouTube videos exposed it all. Instagram direct messages from Robyn's old contacts leaked out. And in a span of 12 hours, a Reddit post with the title, "Janelle gave up her future. Robyn took it all," gained more than 25,000 upvotes. The internet did not hold back. It had already reached its judgment, and it was boisterous. In a raw and uncharacteristically honest Instagram Live, Mary gazed directly into the lens, her voice unshaken. "I normally avoid getting myself involved in this stuff," she started, "but I was there when Janelle signed those financial papers. I saw it with my own eyes. I know what she gave up." Her voice broke a little as she went on. "And so did Robyn." What she went on to say cut deeper than anything that had preceded it. "While Janelle was crying out for help," Mary began, "Robyn was standing in the kitchen, smiling, while the rest of us were crying out for love, support, fairness. Robyn received everything, everything." She took a breath, and then with crystal clearness, "That smile, that was when everything changed for me." And then, at last, Janelle. In a confessional set up by a producer, she was calm, too calm. No tears, no yelling, just honesty. "My 401k is lost. There's nothing there," she told them. "I'm in my 50s and beginning again because I had faith in a dream that was never intended for me." Her voice did not tremble, it sliced. "They can spin it all they wish, but Robyn saw me discard my future, and she never did anything but smile." At the same time, miles away in her plush Flagstaff residence, Robyn stood in silence, sipping wine beside a large window. Her hair was perfectly curled, the kitchen immaculate. Outside, Coyote Pass's once fertile ground remained barren, uninhabited, untouched, abandoned. No homes, no relatives, only dust. She stared out for a moment, then tilted her head. And there it was again, the same heart-wrenching smile. But the silence was starting to show some cracks. Aspen and McKelty, who had spoken so infrequently about the family's financial mess, could no longer remain silent. They were angry, and their language was cutting. "My mom got out," Aspen said, "but she was one of the only ones who actually saw what was happening to Janelle. She ran her future dry just to pay bills," McKelty continued. "And Robyn knew. Don't be fooled by that sweet little voice. Robyn is always 10 steps ahead." They recounted how Robyn would delay decisions in public, but after a behind-the-scenes talk with Cody, it would all swing her way. "She'd play dumb, cry a little bit," Aspen continued, "and then she'd get just what she wanted, every single time." The internet blew up, again. Podcasts picked up steam, viral videos reached millions of views. The fans now had verification from the daughters themselves. The theories weren't mere speculations anymore. They had receipts. Scanned letters, bank statements, and early withdrawal forms found their way to producers. The numbers were astounding. More than $120,000 taken out of Janelle's retirement during the Flagstaff relocation and the initial stages of the Coyote Pass transaction. Another letter disclosed she had loaned money from her own purse to pay for property taxes on all 4 pieces of real estate, land she didn't even own. And then, the most eye-opening revelation. In the same directory were duplicates of Robyn's home refinance documents. The equity drawn on her house never entered the joint family account. Rather, it had been diverted into a private trust, which was solely controlled by Robyn and Cody. It was all there, black and white. Janelle had given over her future to the family. Robyn had locked away one for herself. Silence settled once more, but this time it was oppressive. Janelle sat silently in her apartment, not gazing at her own spreadsheets this time, but at the records given to her by producers. Her fingers shook as she flipped through the pages. Cody's autograph, Robyn's faith, the same dates as her retirement payouts. The understanding struck like ice in her heart. This wasn't about unity, she muttered. It was a funnel, all of it. Every sacrifice, every had been directed into one location, one resident, one destiny, but it wasn't hers. In Utah, a subdued meeting was taking place. Mary, Christine, and Janelle huddled together in someone's home, out of the view of cameras. They had all been shown the papers now. Each of them had read the small print. "This is financial manipulation," Mary grunted. "And quite frankly, it could be worse than that." Christine nodded. "I've already talked to a lawyer," she said softly. The cracks in the Brown family's foundation were no longer hidden. They were gaping. And this time, the world was watching. The council had been explicit, if diplomatic. There might be grounds for a lawsuit if the money were spent in the name of community assets that were, in reality, never actually shared. Janelle gazed out the window, the force of years weighing down on her chest. Years of believing Robyn's tears, of trusting Cody's smile. But now she stood before them both, straightening herself more than she had in years. "I'm not suing for the money," she said quietly. "I just want the record to show the truth." For the first time, Robyn's carefully maintained composure cracked. Her smile faltered as producers approached with copies of the documents. I don't manage any trusts," she stammered. "Cody handles all of that. He's in charge of the finances." But her name was there, her signature, her notarized stamp. The paperwork didn't lie. Cody's stance shifted, arms folded, eyes squinting. "This is a smear campaign," he growled. "They left. They want to ruin what we created." But the producer pushed softly. "Janelle gave you money. Money she thought was for all of you." Cody's voice turned tougher. "She gave it willingly. Nobody coerced her." But in the archives, they discovered footage of Cody bullying Janelle at a dramatic family gathering, his tone demanding, her shoulders drooping. In hindsight, his words seemed callous, a threatening challenge masquerading as leadership. The total was more than $178,000. Christine and Janelle had never been given a penny. Janelle wasn't shocked, but she was devastated. Her warm, motherly voice was deadpan when she addressed producers. "He always had us acting like we were broke. I see why now. We had money. I was the only one paying to keep everyone else afloat." They shook hands on the papers with shaking hands, but unshaking hearts. Christine and Janelle hired a Salt Lake City-based financial fraud attorney together. The initial action, a forensic review of every Brown family expense since Flagstaff. The second, a formal restitution claim. "This isn't retaliation," Christine said firmly in a press briefing. "It's restoration. It's truth. And it's time to end the gaslighting we've endured for over a decade." TLC cameras weren't permitted inside the lawyer's office, but an unnamed producer leaked one line from that meeting. Robyn was aware of the shell corporations. The credit cards were signed by her. Then came the next blow, this time from Mary. A tabloid acquired a leaked voicemail where Mary spoke bluntly and uncharacteristically in saying, "I saw receipts. I watched Cody beg Janelle for a loan in 2019, promising he'd pay it back after the book deal went through." Robyn kept the money, literally, in a box in her closet. My sister wife's closet, Robyn's now dormant online jewelry store, was suddenly back under the spotlight. Fans began querying, where was the inventory? Why weren't canceled orders refunded? What exactly had they been funding all those years? One viral tweet summed it up bitterly. "They drained Janelle's 401k to finance Robyn's Etsy dream. I'm sick." In a last-ditch effort to control the narrative, TLC scheduled a sit-down damage control interview with Cody and Robyn, but the attempt backfired. Cody blew up. "This is my family! You people are attempting to kill me for ratings," he raved, veins standing out, eyes demented. Robyn, crying, blamed producers for making the family turn on her. "I gave everything," she sobbed. "What is it about them you don't like?" The query hung there like smoke. Janelle hesitated, not. "I just don't like them in that setting," she replied plainly, her tone unflinching. "I don't want to be around people who make me question my worth." It was honest. It was final. And it was long overdue. For the fans who had seen Janelle remain calm, held back, and diplomatic all those years, the moment resonated deeply. Social media went wild, not in anger, but in respect. At last, someone had spoken up, not with poison, but with discernment. In 2025, Janelle isn't the woman quietly funding dysfunction in secret anymore. Now, she's building. She's sowing seeds. She's flourishing. Having settled in North Carolina near her daughter Madison, Janelle now devotes her days to Tata Farms, a nascent agricultural business launched by Janelle in 2024 with Madison and son-in-law Caleb. The farm is more than a business venture. It's symbolic of heritage, of tranquility, of healing between generations. When you have friends who arrive at a birthday trip ready to bring the laughs, Janelle posted on Instagram recently, you know you've found your circle. She beamed in the photos, surrounded by old friends, new friends, and those people who were by her side when the cameras were off. She went back to Flagstaff in April 2025, not to make up, not to replay, but to reconnect with herself, with friends Christine and Angela, and with the life she'd created. After a dinner of burgers and fries, an absurd game, and a fit of laughter that left her gasping for air, Janelle sat back and thought. There were times when my only friends were employees and children, and now these women are my constants. She doesn't go see Cody. She doesn't text Robyn, and she isn't sorry. "I'm just not interested in hanging on to people who never valued me," she said recently. I've got too much life left for that. Elsewhere, the remnants of a fractured family continue to scatter. Robyn remains isolated. Once hoping for eternal sisterhood, she now lives monogamously with a man who told the world she was the only one he ever loved. But it's not enough. Do you ever miss having been in plural marriage? She asked Cody in a subdued, bewildered season 19 moment. Her eyes begged for contact. Cody gave no actual response. Rather, he spoke of getting out of the nation, of fleeing from the wreckage. I want to go somewhere I don't have to feel this anymore. In a turn no one could have anticipated, Cody came not to his children, not to Mary, but to David Woolley, Christine's new husband. He invited a guy's road trip,